And it says we're live. I'm not going to lie. If I'm a little bit dark tonight, I was rushing to try and get this. I have a lot of stuff that I'm trying to get done, and I did not have time to test my camera out. It is overcast here, so I didn't even take into account that there was going to be less light. So I'm sorry if I'm kind of dark tonight. My apologies. I wonder if I could. I wonder if I can adjust. I wonder if I can adjust my camera now while I'm on the air. I don't even know what that beeping is. Oh, is it? Don't think I can. I don't think I can adjust it when I'm already on the air. So I do apologize for that. And of course, this is a night earlier than it usually is because tomorrow, and this is why I'm rushing, even when I'm done here, I kind of have a ton of stuff still to do tonight because I'm rushing trying to get things salted away and seated away because tomorrow morning I have a day surgery that's going to have me laid up for a few days. Hopefully it's only a few days. Hopefully it's nothing major. Shouldn't be. It should be pretty run of the mill. Don't worry about old GotBot. I will be okay. But I'm trying to get a lot of stuff done because I know that after tonight, I'm going to really want to, kind of rest and heal and relax and that sort of stuff, right? So that's why we're doing this tonight because I got a funny feeling around this time tomorrow evening, I'm not going to be in any type of mood to be here. So that's why we're doing it here now tonight. And we're going to talk about my reactions to the live stream this past week. We're going to talk about some news with comics. It's not so much with the comics. It's what was reported when the comics were discussed. And we're going to talk about some reveals and stuff coming out of threezero and coming out of DNA Design and coming out of Newage. We're going to do trivia. Actually, we kind of have like a trivia part A and B tonight again. And we're going to, of course, do this week's unboxing. And we're going to debunk a couple of myths, I think, tonight, right here live on the show. I don't know how many people are going to be here. I'm sure tomorrow will come and people will message and say, hey, where's the live show? Even though I did try and promote this around. It's been a big week. The last week or so, we did True Review 1000, which, of course, was I'll spit this out in a moment. The tour of Cyril's Nerdvana, which was fantastic. We finished off Jetwing Optimus Prime. If you haven't looked at it yet, yesterday we put up the update to my custom Lio Kaiser. I mean, he's pretty much ideal now. I still got a few little odds and ends that I'm doing to touch him up. As I said, I was kind of rushing for the review, and he wasn't exactly perfect because I still had a little bit of cleaning up, we'll say, to do, but it was certainly good enough that you get an idea of how fantastic the add-on set is, or sets, I should say, are, and kind of how everything works and comes together. It pretty much gave me, in the end, about as ideal of a Lio Kaiser as I think I could possibly hope for. So there you go. Like I said, just a couple of touch-ups going on now, just to kind of solidify things with that. I keep hitting that. By the way, coming up on Friday will be Override's review. That's the plan. So let me just get things set up here and salted away. I know you guys are talking. Bear with me a little bit. I'm going to go through my intro, kind of. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, a.k.a. GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe while you're at it, loud of my baby. Oh, right. I don't actually have my bell here. It's over there. So ding, hit the notification bell. It helps me out a ton. And it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that in the description down below. Also in the description down below. And if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link, baby. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we have to offer to you through spring. Or, of course, you can always hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. Okay, let's get that. And I'll take that. Yeah, let's check in with you guys and we will get going. Hi, Dragonfly. Hey, input. By the way, if I make a couple of references tonight to input and you're like, what are you talking about? Go back and watch his news from earlier. He did a show earlier. For example, here's one. Input's favorite Toyota is his imaginary souped up Yaris. I know it is, baby. I know it is. And I can only imagine how wild that thing would be. Side note, fun fact, and this is just for input. My dad years and years ago had a Duster. I think it was Dodge. I think a Duster was a Dodge, if I'm not mistaken. And it was a fairly small car. And that vehicle had I want to say a V8 in it, almost by accident. And it ended up being an engine that was too big for the vehicle. And for the duration of the time he owned that car, he had heavy sandbags put in the trunk because the rear end needed to be weighed down. It was nuts. But of course, I know you probably already thought of that. What with having a spare engine? Who has a spare engine kicking around? Only Input would have a spare engine. So for everybody else who doesn't understand that, it'd make perfect sense if you went back and saw like the tail end of a show. Hey, Big M. Hey, Brian. Computer's going to explode. That's what the beeping is. I wouldn't doubt it. Earlier this afternoon, in trying to get everything done, I had the washer on and it basically like spilled soapy water all over the laminate floor. And I was like, oh no. So I was cleaning that up. And it was really weird because I took the front and stuff off and I saw it down on the very bottom was wet. And myself and Starscream wife ended up wiping all that up and cleaning it all up. And I said, I don't know what's going on. And I said, I did notice that one of the legs was after, I guess, like twisting its way back up. So it wasn't exactly level. So I lowered that leg back down the way it should be. And we put on I'll say a sample, like run through cycle. And then we did an actual load and it was fine. Everything in there is dry. So I don't know what happened. I guess where it was off balance, I guess is the only thing I can imagine. I don't know if that's a thing. It seems fine now. But again, it was one of those things that really put me behind. And that's probably why I'm here with a bit of a darker camera than I originally anticipated, because I have gotten into the habit of adjusting this to brighter. So my apologies. I just plain ran out of time. That sound, by the way, according to Starscream Wife, was the one of our dehumidifiers. So there you go. Let's see. Hey, 3 live stream, man. I got to try and find a time to like get in on yours, but the time difference kills me. You guys are on so late. Old man like me is usually gone to bed, baby. Hey, Lance. And I am going down here a little bit quick. Hey, Sean C. I was able to watch about half of the Lyocaiser review. So far, I had to pause. I got busy. That's fine. The Lyocaiser review, a couple of people said, why is it as long as what it is? Well, you got to understand that there's 2 add-on kits. One that goes on Leozak. So I had to kind of show what it is that goes altered on Leozak. And then one that goes on a swindle version of Jaguar. So I had to explain what went on there and kind of how that worked in all modes. Show off that brand new custom Jaguar and explain why I couldn't use the head because I was using a KO. I had to use a Shapeways head. So there was a lot that went into it. And then, of course, finally, I show Lyocaiser himself. So really, it's kind of a 3-for-1 review with Leozak, Jaguar, and Lyocaiser. And yes, I do show with Leozak that his chest minion, which I did previously, could still go on. And with Jaguar, his chest minion can also still go on. And when I started off with Lyocaiser, I actually had all of his minions on. I even had Ion Scythe included. And I compare him next to a Combiner Wars combiner so you can get scale idea. And then, of course, I kind of give my thoughts about the whole thing. Spoiler, I really, really like it. Let's see. Picked up the Siege Ultimate Optimus this week. I don't know what the Siege Ultimate Optimus. What's the Ultimate Optimus? I don't know what that is. I don't know what the Ultimate Optimus is, Brian. Let me know what it is. We go down here a little bit. Missed the memo. Yeah, you know what? I'm not even sure how many people will be in here tonight because I know it's different. If you're talking to anybody tomorrow who's wondering about the show, like tell him like he did it last night, man. Did it last night. Hey, Teen Toys. Hey, Jay. We go down here a little bit. Was offered a studio series Grimlock, but unfortunately it was damaged on the dino nose and it started to yellow. That's rough. That's rough. On the back. Interesting. My boy found Cosmos for me. Nice. I'm glad that you got it, Jay. It's really weird. I mentioned last week how my pre-orders that were in with Walmart have been charged. Both have been refunded. I haven't gotten anything saying the orders are canceled. I haven't gotten anything saying they're shipped. I haven't gotten anything. It was charged and then it was refunded. And I've gotten nothing. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. I think what happened is this. They said that the date got changed to August the 4th instead of like September the 26th or something. I think that was a mistake because the only things that kind of came out around August the 4th time were the Voyagers and about a day or so later, the Leader being Scourge. The Deluxes aren't out in Canada yet. So I think that it was applied to the whole thing and it wasn't supposed to be. My guess is that the Deluxes will still release closer to the end of September, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm glad you got it. I'm not breaking myself over it. People are like going nuts over this. Like, guys, it's just a toy. That's all. It's the ultimate luxury. It's just a toy. It's no point in stressing over it. No point worrying about it. You'll be fine. Whether you get it or whether you don't, you'll be fine. Trust me. Literally a ton of Cosmos in my local Smiths. I heard that the UK has a ton of these, right? I figure if mine doesn't come and gets canceled, I'm going to hit somebody up from the UK and say, hey, can you get me a Cosmos? By the way, before anybody says, the shipping must be crazy for that. Actually, I've shipped stuff to the UK and it wasn't really any different than if I shipped it to the middle of the province. I guess it's all expensive, but it was very minimal. I think it was like $20, something like $20 Canadian, something like that. So you might say, yeah, that's expensive, and it is, but like that's our typical shipping. To the center of the province is like 16. So $4 extra to go across the pond. Yeah, okay, I was fine with that. Hey, Ninja Bill. All right, let's get going on the news. You guys can chit-chat a little bit if you want. What? I've got a spare Cosmos if you need one. Listen, Teen Toys, hold on to it. I will let you know if mine kind of follows through. But seriously, hold on to it for me for now if you don't mind. And if I need it, we'll work something out. But I'm not gonna worry just yet. But hold on to it, and I appreciate that, by the way. Just watched Teen Toys. Jay just said that he just watched Teen Toys Motor Master review. So there you go. There you go. All right, let's get going here. So first things first. I already talked about my Cosmos and my Clampdown refund. Again, I'll monitor it, see what happens. Cullen is going to be at TFCon Chicago. Perhaps no bigger star for Transformers. Whenever you can get Peter Cullen to go there, and he's always so humble and so gracious, why wouldn't you have him or want him? You know what I mean? What else do we have here? Vintage Iguanas reissue. We've seen images of, as well as the Vintage K9 reissue. It's so funny. When we got the Legacy Iguanas, I was really thinking it was going to be the Beast Wars. So the Beast Wars reissue of Beast Wars Iguanas, I'm cool with that. I think it's all right. For those who don't know, it's basically the same sort of mechanism, same sort of transformation, if you will, as Alligator Megatron, right? Except instead of looking like an alligator, this one looks like an iguana. As for K9, honestly, I don't know the mold very well. I've fiddled with the Montoy KO of that, but that's about it. So I'm sort of stoked about that. What else do we have here? Newage showed up there. Legends Class Elita 1, and she looks beautiful. Her pink and red flow very nice together. I feel like the whites are a bunch of different shades, and that's a little jarring. And I love her big boots. Like, she kind of got some big, hefty feet. And when I first saw it, I was like, oh, I don't know. The feet look a little too big for the mold. And then I thought about it, and I said, you know what? All that's going to do is make sure that she got a good, solid base to stand on. I'm cool with it. And as a surprise, that same mold, which is basically an RC mold, is being used for Solus Prime as well. And I was excited to see it. We all know that my version of Solus Prime is MMC Salvia Promenon. When I saw the Newage take on Solus Prime from that mold, with, of course, several remolded bits and a beautiful new head, the coloring, the paint looks gorgeous. Starscream wife is watching a movie, so I'm sure she's laughing. Actually, she's watching Are you watching the movie? Are you still watching the Devil Wears Prada?
What?
Are you still watching the movie?
No, I put on Schitt's Creek.
Oh, okay. All right. She's watching Schitt's Creek now. So brilliant show. If you've never watched it, highly recommend it. It's such a good show. So she might laugh a whole bunch through this. Anyway, the Solus Prime, very reminiscent of the way she looked in the Prime Wars trilogy from Machinima. Like that trilogy, when you see Megatronus interacting with that Solus Prime in that trilogy, it's really, really similar to the way she looked there. And honestly, it's a good look for her. Very different than my Solus Prime, than, you know, the colors used there. But I can't argue with it. Again, two absolute knockouts by Newage from a mold that generally is pretty darn good with a clever transformation, great articulation. Again, they're small. I mean, they're for a legend scale, right? They're for Newage's legend scale, but I can't argue with the quality. Really, really can't. What else do we have here? E-Hobby got more of their insignias. Those acrylic insignias out. I don't even know which ones it is. Does it really matter? Go look them up if you want insignias. Someone's motorcycle is going real fast. I don't know if you guys heard it, but look at Marcus. Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday. I know. I have for those coming in now, I have a day surgery tomorrow morning. And I'm going to need it like a few days for sure, if not longer. But I know that by this time tomorrow evening, I'm not going to be up to being here. It's nothing serious. Don't worry. I'll be fine. I'll be okay. But I kind of had to get it out of the way today, right? In the US, G-Axis and Soundwave are both out. So cool if you want G-Axis and Soundwave. Well, G-Axis definitely get. If you are saying, I don't know the character, whatever, do yourself a favor, get them. I said in his review, you know what, man? That's what a Voyager should always be. That should be like the bar limit of a Voyager. And everybody said the same thing. They said, I don't like the hollowness under the jet. Here's what I would say. The only criticism I could levy against G-Axis, assuming he doesn't turn yellow, but the only criticism I could levy against him is that he was about 5 grams lighter for a Voyager than he should be, right? He comes in at like 140. I said that's in the ballpark. But you know what? 5 more grams of plastic would have him to be the ideal perfect Voyager. How could we do 5 grams of plastic? Oh, I know. We could have put 2 little flaps under the bottom of the plane. Just 2 little flaps. That's all you needed. And there is an add-on kit for it. I don't really notice the bottom of the plane. I don't care that it's hollow. It doesn't bother me. So that's why I still said he's like the going thing for Voyager. But in all honesty, I understand the criticism. I really do. I understand the criticism. It's just I don't care. As for Soundwave, the Siege one was great. You know, I know everybody wants the Earthrise, but guess what? The Siege never turned gray. Clean it up. I think you guys still got a good Soundwave. Dr. Wu showed off their Slam Dance. I have Chatter, which is their version of Squawk Talk, Beast Box, Beast Talk. I can't remember the dudes' names. You know who I'm talking about. The 2 Decepticon cassettes. Well, Slam Dance, of course, is Rain Dance and Grand Slam. And they are, of course, cassettes that work with Blaster. They're also a little tank and a little plane. Now, I have the Alpha Strike Squadron Deluxe version of that. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'm good for Slam Dance. But if something happens and that breaks or something, I have no problem getting this. I love Chatter. I think that both of those are fun. I think that together they're fun. I have no doubt that the Slam Dance is just as good. If you've been on the fence and wondering, do I need those Autobot cassettes? I don't know if you need them, but if you're in for, you know, the cassette minions of Blaster and Soundwave, and that's the scale you want, and that's what you want, I'm telling you now, unless they really muck this up, based on my experience with Chatter, I think that their version of Slam Dance is a slam dunk. Honestly, totally worth getting. What else do we have here? We're gonna save that. threezero showed off their M Deluxe Megatron, who has he's about 7 inches tall, 45 points of articulation. Apparently, he scales very nicely with their Optimus Prime. And Bumblebee, I guess. He is due out in Q4 2022. He comes with 4 sets of hands. His fusion cannon, we'll call it the barrel that goes on his back. It looks great. It looks sinister. Even the head sculpt, though stylized as everything about him is because it's threezero, looks really beautiful. Looks really beautiful. If you're into non-transforming robots, I think they got you covered. Now, somebody mentioned on Input Stream earlier that they prefer the flame toys. I don't know. I know that the solidity of threezero is supposedly very good. And while I've never handled an M Deluxe, I have handled a premium and I have handled the deluxe. And those they feel real good. I've never handled flame toys, but I've heard a lot of issues with their solidity. So I don't know. I don't know for sure, but I know that this Megatron does look impressive. Sunstreaker has joined Forge to fight. Oddly, rather than looking like his Earthrise version, he looks a lot more to me like his Classics version. Nevertheless, he's in there. DNA Design. DNA Design showed off their set for premium finish Megatron. I talked about this for the 07 movie Megatron, where it gave him like a new chest, I think a new arm cannon. Well, color that kind of silvery or gunmetal grayish, and it's the same thing for the premium finish Megatron. That's not the only thing that DNA Design showed off this week, and I think Input talked about it, and somebody mentioned not everything needs an upgrade kit, right? But when it comes to this one, I think it's really cool. It is an upgrade kit to go with the Legacy Velocitron Speedia 500 Scourge. And really the intention is to kind of beef up the trailer, make it more of a base, make it something he can kind of put on as huge cannons. It's a cool set. It also fills in the back of his legs. Again, I think this one was also done for Laser Prime. So it's been adapted now to go with the Scourge. It makes perfect sense. And if I'm wrong about that, and it wasn't for Laser Prime, then you could also use this with Laser Prime, I guess. Why not, right? I'm going to go back to that piece of news. And I'm going to cover one more piece here, and then we're going to do the last two major pieces of news. Super Impulse, world's smallest. Now, our buddy Grimlock On sent to me, I think it was Grimlock On, sent to me the Wave 1 of the world's smallest. And you know what? I looked at the Bumblebee, the Optimus, and the Starscream not that long ago. And I said, you know what? For what they are, they're kind of cool. And you know what? They scale great with Titans. They scale wonderful for our stop motion for that stuff. Well, the new wave of 3 that I assume will be out in Target, because I think that's where people were seeing them, is RC Megatron, who for some reason has a silver cannon rather than a black one. I feel like I would paint that cannon as tiny as it is. And Soundwave. And I don't know why Soundwave has like a black visor. It looks like he's dead. Like it's such a soulless line across his face. I don't know why it's black instead of red. I have no idea. But nevertheless, for something as tiny as what they are, they're like 1.25 inches. Like they are tiny. There's a way to fit them in stop motion. That's great. You're not going to get a lot of dynamic motion out of them. I get it. The stuff, if it ever comes from, who is it that's doing it? Half the Battle. If Half the Battle actually has theirs come to light, theirs are better, no doubt, but I'm sure much more expensive. For like $4 or $5 for something that could be used in stop motion, if I ever saw them here, I'd get them. I have never seen them here. They might only be a US thing. I don't know. But they are coming out. Let's check in with you guys, and then we're going to talk a little bit about some interesting comments and stuff that were made during the recent earnings report and stuff about the future of the comics for Transformers and G.I. Joe, really. So let's just go up and check in with you guys here first, though. I'm not sure how far up I got to go here, so bear with me just a little bit. Let's see. My bad. Oh, meant the Galaxy Upgrade Optimus Prime. Oh, yeah. I got you. I reviewed that. I mean, it's not the Optimus Prime for me because I'm just not a huge. We all know I'm not a Unicron trilogy guy. But you know what? It's a pretty decent Optimus. I'm sure I gave him good marks and stuff. He was fine. He was good. I didn't have any issue with him at all. That said, tomorrow, no, that's a lie. Friday, because this is Wednesday. Friday will be Override. And I'm going to tell you now, I weighed Override and she came in at 108 grams of plastic, which I said, okay, so that's lighter, certainly lighter. Does she have enough other bells and whistles to make her a true blue Voyager? Or is she at least closer to Voyager than she is Deluxe? It's an interesting analysis. I'm not going to lie. It's an interesting analysis, but a positive one. And hopefully you guys will like it as well. I think that video is 15 minutes, something like that. I'm not a Unicron Trilogy guy at all, but she's great. She's really, really great. I gotta say, I'm color me impressed, and you'll see. Yeah, let's go on down here. I've got the Spirit Cosmos. Yeah, I saw that. We talked about that a little bit. Let's see. The Cyclonus arm fix. Oh yeah, the Cyclonus arm fix from Dragonfly. Did you bring up my stuff or just yours?
I only had one arm.
You only had one arms? Not one arm. You had one arms.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Thanks. That's all right. Some of my stuff got to go in the closet there anyway.
I thought it was the boy stuff.
No, that's mine. That's there. The boy stuff is in the laundry now. Let's see. Peter Cullen is the man and the legend. Yes, he absolutely is. K9 is a fantastic mold. You know what? I like the KO of K9, so I assume the real K9 is great, honestly. I have no reason to think differently. Disembodied voice of Starscream. Hello, disembodied voice of Starscream wife. Yeah. It is a special Wednesday edition. Like I said, for anybody who's coming in here now, again, tomorrow morning I have a day surgery. Don't worry, I'll be fine. But it is something that I've got to get taken care of, and I got to recover, right? So, but I didn't want to slight you guys, so rather than not do the show, I thought we'd do it tonight because you guys deserve it. I met Cullen at 2010 BotCon. At the first Transformers Hall of Fame ceremony. Wow. I can't even imagine. I can't imagine going to a con. I can't imagine meeting any of these people. I can't even imagine meeting other YouTubers. The only one that I know personally that I've met face to face in person is Cardboard Bots, and that's only because he's a local guy. Otherwise, I can't even imagine it. It must be so cool. Hey, Slow DK. I think G-Axis is the perfect representation of what a Voyager should be. Yes, I agree, Jay. Yes, he absolutely is. And I say this as someone who didn't even criticize the hollow undercarriage of the plane. He's so good that I don't even notice that. And you guys know that I don't have a problem complaining and calling it like I see it. So if I'm saying it's that good, I'd like to think that carries some weight to it, right? I can't jump on them because of shrinking them down, but I will check it out when I see it. Let's see. The Megs does look, as Input says, the Megs look sick as hell. You got to be talking about the 301. I agree. Top to bottom, it is one of the most imposing, sinister Megs that I've ever seen. He's the dude you don't want to mess with. You see him at the bar, you're going to steer clear of him, right? It is what it is. As we go down here. Hey, Ultra Megatronus, buddy. Oh, yeah. Happy birthday to Ultra Megatronus' wife. Let's see. I like the scale of the Transformers figures now. They display well on the shelves. As we go down here a bit. No, you didn't miss the news of Fan First. I'm going to be doing that now as soon as I'm caught up here with the comments. Love the green holler. Actually, so do I. I love the mold anyway. And I like that he has a face yelling I want those kids to get off my lawn. Exactly what I would do, right? Actually, that's a lie. Around here, we don't even have fences between our yards. And not so much now because the kids on the street have grown up, but kids used to run back and forth all the time. Their parents used to say to me, sorry about the kids. It's the way I grew up. I'm glad that I got a yard that they can run through. That's the way I always looked at it, right? Plus, our kids ended up running through everybody's yard anyway. So there you go. Core, Voyager, Deluxe, blah, blah, blah. Those should be back in alt mode. As we go down here. Hey, Maximal 10, buddy. Okay, so let's take a second and we're going to talk about the comics and then we're going to talk about the live stream stuff, right? My thoughts on that. So there was, hold on, let me find it. There was a number of comments made by someone, Mr. Kelly, I think it is, because he's the guy who kind of deals with like the comics rights and stuff. And I found it very interesting because he talked about the future of G.I. Joe and Transformers. And honestly, I read it and I thought, this is very blah. This is very, what I'm reading is very blah, very par for the course blah. There's nothing dynamic. There's nothing innovative. There's nothing new that would excite me. And it seemed like his comments were very safe comments. And they were very conservative comments, right? He was playing his cards close to his chest. I think he was trying to make it look to investors like, oh, yeah, things are going perfectly well, but that's not the way I see it when I look at some of his comments. So here's a couple of them, for example. He said that they will be looking as IDW's run of the license ends, and they're still in negotiations for who's going to get it next, even though everybody has said that the Forerunner is Kirkman Skybound imprint. He said we're going to be looking for fresh takes, not reinventing the brand. That's what you do every time. Everything is always a fresh take. Somebody I was talking to yesterday, and I can't remember who it was now, said every few years they reboot everything. There's a million different continuities. Why couldn't they just keep building on? Why couldn't they stay true to it? If you want fresh takes, then you build on the lore that was already established in there. You don't need a dozen different versions of Optimus Prime, even though he is a quintessential character. I get it. What you really need is to build upon that, introduce different characters and stuff. That's what somebody said to me. So I found it interesting that the take here was, again, the run-of-the-mill, fresh takes, not reinventing the brand. In other words, we're going to do the same thing that we've done with the Prime Wars and then with RID 2015 and then with Cyberverse and coming up with Earthspark, although I think Earthspark does have some innovative ideas since it's after the war and we have Transformers bore from Earth. That's a different take. Very different take, right? How are they born from Earth? What about the Well of Allsparks and all that, right? So that, I think, is interesting. You need more ideas like that. Will fans gravitate to it? It depends on how it's done. But I like the fact that it's a little bit of an outside-the-box thing. They need to do that with the comics. Then he continued on, and he said, we're going to start with a few characters, and then from there, we're going to really build their character and we're going to invest a lot into them. And they'll be real like core characters and certain ones that connect, like Bumblebee is going to be front and center because Bumblebee is everybody's buddy. That's what the guy said. Bumblebee is everybody's buddy. He's never been my buddy since I was 5. Hate the guy. Always did. And you shove him down the throats of everybody and you still think that's what everybody wants. Interesting. Again, sticking with par for the course. And then he said, what we'll do is we'll introduce other characters after that. So basically, you're going to do exactly what you did with Cyberverse, which was you start off with Bee and Windblade, and then you start introducing other characters. The problem is, unless you start off with 2 characters that really catch everybody right away, people will watch the first 2 or 3 episodes, say, this is trash. And then when the show gets good, you already have your audience lost. Or when the comics get good, you already have your audience lost. I don't think that's the way to do it. But funny enough, here's what he said. We'll start with a few characters. We'll build from there. So this was a quote. So yeah, that is usually what we do. You're talking as if it's a success. You're talking as if everything you've done is a rousing success, and it's not. If the Transformers and G.I. Joe comics were as successful as you're trying to make your investors and make the public believe, then why is IDW losing the license? Why wouldn't you stick with it? But that's not it. It continued from there. And I thought it was interesting that it continued from there. He said, we don't push characters into stories. We don't do that. Except for all the times that you did that, like with Combiner Wars and Titan's Return and Power of the Primes. You did it in 2015, 2016, 2017. Everybody knows IDW even said, well, we had to weave certain stories because Hasbro demanded that certain characters that were going to be on the toy shelves go in there. So who's lying here? Is IDW lying, saying that you wanted certain characters put into stories, or are you lying because you know what I mean? Like, either IDW is telling the truth or Hasbro is telling the truth. They both can't because they're not saying the same thing. Personally, I tend to believe IDW, even though I don't like IDW. I tend to believe them because honestly, I don't believe a word that comes out of any Hasbro employee's mouth. Not one. Let's say, though, that pattern changed with War for Cybertron. And it changed because IDW said, you know what? We're sick of doing all this. We're just going to reboot the whole thing. We're going to do it our way. And the problem is people hated it. That's why you're losing the license. Everybody, even the fans of the comics, have said, we liked it up to about Combiner Wars. And then when Hasbro stuck their fingers in it, the comics got rough. And when they started the reboot, everybody said, well, give it a chance. And then they said, well, I hate this. You should have just left them alone. I don't think that he said one word that got me excited. I don't think he said one word that made me think that you're putting your best foot forward. It sounded very complacent. It sounded like, yeah, we'll give it to a thing. They'll do something with it. It'll be fine. I don't feel like he was doing his job. I feel like it was nothing. There was no substance there. I feel like if the comics are going to succeed, and I got to admit, I'm not a fan of Transformers and comics. I never have been. But I do follow what the fans say. And what the fans say is, I love IDW. I loved it pre-Combiner Wars. After Combiner Wars, it got spotty. And then when they rebooted the whole thing, that's been pretty slow going, plotting, and rough. That's what I've heard from innumerable fans. What you need to do is give it to a well-known, good creative force, like Kirkman, maybe. And while my fear is that he will Walking Dead the Transformers franchise, hopefully he doesn't. But what you need to do is give it to somebody, and you need to let the creators create the fiction. You need to see what characters they like. Because if you force them and say, you have to do a story about Bumblebee, and they hate Bumblebee, then guess what? The story's not going to be great. They have to do the stories for the characters that they love, and that will get the audience. And then you, as a toy company, can look at which characters are getting that love, and that's what you put on the shelf. The problem is you're looking at toy followed by comic or any fiction. You need to do good fiction followed by the toy. Just my suggestion. But the things that the dude said, very safe, very par for the course, right? We're looking for fresh takes. We're not reinventing the brand. We will see familiar fan favorite faces like Bumblebee for kids. We're going to introduce a few characters, build them up, and then introduce more. So yeah, that's what we usually do. We don't push characters into stories. We don't do that, except for the times you did. It was nothing there. It was nothing of substance. Thankfully, though, the stream was far more positive. Far more positive, man. And even had a couple of surprises along the way. So while I think the future of comics is only bright if Hasbro keeps their muddy fingers out of it and lets creators create, we'll have to wait and see. But they got to keep their muddy fingers out of it and let whatever imprint takes it over, let them be creative with it. That's what you got to do. Just saying. Okay, let's look at the stream. So in the stream, first thing that came up is the stamp collection. I think there's like 13 stamps. There's like 40 items in the whole set. It said they're personally approved by the Queen. Just so everybody's aware. Just so everybody knows. Some piece of paper was put in front of her from the Royal Mint, or in this case, Royal Post, that said, yeah, we're doing this. And she just signs and puts her royal signature on it. If she even does it, I've heard that there's a stamp that has her signature on it and somebody just stamps it. So personally approved, I'd say she doesn't even realize it's happening. But whatever. Sure, this 100-year-old lady who's, the Queen of England and been so for like 75 years or something. Yeah, she cares about a bunch of Transformer stamps. Come on. Let's be realistic here. The stamps themselves, though, are pretty cool. They come from the vintage, like Marvel art. I think there's 13 stamps. Let's see. If you have a black light, there is invisible ink to identify their faction and their name written in Cybertronian. There's 5 Dinobot stamps. There's a stamp book with art. And there's a holder that is shaped like the Matrix of Leadership. There's also a book written by that James Roberts guy who does the terrible comics, and he recounts the story of the Transformers. I don't like that guy's writing, so saying that he's the guy that wrote that book, no, I don't want to put myself through the pain of trying to read that. I don't think he's very good myself. Sorry. Then they covered some comic stuff. I think I've covered enough comic stuff. But then we get into the meat, and the meat is where the fun is. The meat was Studio Series as well as Legacy, and I liked a lot of what I saw. Can you believe it? GotBot actually liked something. Before I get into both of those and what I liked, let's see what you guys are saying. I'm sure I've ruffled some feathers at this point. It's like my thing, right? It's like my thing, man. Let's see here. Always wanted to say, hey, you crazy kids, get off my lawn. Do it. Feels so good. Let's see. Also looking for ideas for the Christmas package for this year. Geez, you're starting early, buddy. What's up? Let's see. Hey, Grimlock Gun. Was going to talk about the comics as well. Then your stream. Yeah. Input stream died on him, and I was like, oh, as soon as it happened, I was like, yeah, I know what happened because it happened to me a few weeks ago. Remember? The stream just fell. That was sad. But it was nice that Oracle came up in the chat and said, sorry, guys, stream's done. I mean, that's all you can do sometimes, right? By the way, if this stream craps out, then I apologize. I love SS Hot Rod. What a shock. What a shock. Jay loves a Transformer. What a shock. Jay loves a movie Transformer. What a shock. I never would have guessed. Never would have guessed. I find it hard to relax too. Trust me. New package, same product. I think I'm going to Japan, and manga is the bright future of what? I think going to Japan and manga is the bright future of TF Comics. I don't like Japanese fiction at all in comic or cartoon. Nothing. None of it. Everybody's like, Robotech is like a space opera. That's wonderful. I kind of remember it. Starscream Wife loves Sailor Moon. I mean, I watch it, but I'm giggling the whole way through because it's ludicrous. And I think for me, it boils down to two things: the way overuse of stock footage, which a manga admittedly wouldn't have. But I've read the Transformers manga, and I'm like, ugh, yeesh. It's too out there. I can't take it seriously, right? But I look at all the stock footage and I'm like, blast them. They're mid-transformation or they're mid-change or they're mid-powering up to be super mega ultra something or other. Destroy them while they're doing this stupid power-up. That's what I would do. Now, according to my wife, all that happens in like split seconds and they slow it down for us, the audience, to see. I'm like, that seems like a stretch to me. I'm a real-time kind of guy, I guess. Let's see. I bet Dennis wanted to strangle someone with that comment about B. Nah, I don't know what the comment about B is. I don't hate Bumblebee, but he's not my favorite. Oh, I hate him. I can't stand the guy. Hey, Puna. I don't hate Bumblebee, but he's not even in my top 10 favorite characters. He's not my top 200 favorite characters. I don't like him. The only version of him I like is animated, and everybody else hates that one. Hasbro has done that since day one, from G1 to IDW. That's right. So this guy's saying, we don't do that. Yes, you do. You outright just lied. You always put pressure on, I would say, shows and comics because you have some toy coming out. That's what you do. And to say it's successful, I mean, here's the thing. Was it ever successful? You know what I mean? Like, was it ever really successful? Like, G1 was great, but I would say that it's been very ebb and flow ever since G2. A lot of ebbs and flows over the years. And when Beast Wars took over, I don't give Hasbro credit for that. I give the Kenner guys credit for that because it was that crew that came up with Beast Wars. It's like I said before, man. I love the franchise. I hate the company handling it because I think they've become complacent. And I would very much like another company to handle the brand I love. That's where we're to. I would like a different company to handle Transformers. Never, can't happen, but that's what I'd like. It's like it's like wrestling. Like I've always loved wrestling. Obviously, the top one is WWE, but after WCW and before AEW, when it was just Vince in his glory days to do what he liked, I thought it was a low point. It was so boring. Even now, with Vince in charge, like the product was so boring. As soon as Roman won the title in 2020, I said he's going to have that till WrestleMania when he takes on The Rock. And then WrestleMania came and passed. I said it's still going to be a WrestleMania. And now the word is that it'll be the next WrestleMania. That's a boring year. That's a boring year of Roman Reigns. Something got to be done. Now I'm hoping things will change with Triple H in charge. But I feel like the same thing needs to happen here. You need fresh blood. And I don't mean just changing out, one corporate shill like Warden for another corporate shill like Mark. Or, a dude who lives in his mom's basement like Evan. I don't know the Sam guy, but he seems the most credible of them to me. I can't watch the live streams because I can't handle Mark and Evan. I can't. Maybe they're the nicest guys in the world, but they're so fake. And it's so obvious that you have no love or passion for what you're doing at all. None. At least the Sam guy seems like he legit loves that Beast Wars Transmetal 2 Megatron. You need a whole clean slate. You need completely fresh blood, in my opinion. But, what do I know, right? IDW has been poor for a long time. There's a reason IDW is losing a lot of licenses and their revenue is going down. Just saying. But hey, it's what you've always done, Hasbro, and that's been working great for you, right? I don't know. I'm hashtag new blood, I guess. Some IDW is good. I don't know. Not anything I've read. IDW plus third party would equal great figures. If you say so. I don't like IDW. It's not good writing. Read IDW 2.0 up to issue 19. It sucks. So many things wrong with it. I didn't like their take on the first part of Shattered Glass either. Like, you're not even using the right terminology. Like, you're talking about sparks. They don't have sparks. They have embers. It's not even right. You don't know the lore, man. Like I'm just saying. Hey, Raphael. I'd love for volume 3 writers from Dreamwave were allowed to continue the story. Yeah, a lot of people still look back at Dreamwave and wish that the creators were still kind of, involved there. The fans are making much better content these days. You're right. A lot of fans are. Yeah, the Starscream OVA, for example. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I have a load of IDW comics because of the ones who came with the toys. Yeah, they didn't come with the toys in Canada. The fans are making better toys too. Let's face it. You're not wrong. Look at the upgrade kit for my Lio Kaiser. I mean, Kentan 99 on the TFW boards, done the design. I only know it because I bought them from Cult 3D. And I used the printing services of our buddy Justin from the 3D Corner. I had a lot of people to thank for that. You need to drop the Angry Miner backstory for Megatron. Absolutely. They do. They need to bring, there's a lot. I love that the fans here in the stream are giving all the things that they should be doing and got to do. Transmetal Dragon Megatron looks glorious. He does look glorious, but I'm like, the whole arm is still the dragon head like it was before. And like, I can't remember I couldn't remember in the cartoon if that was the case or not. I felt like he had 2 regular arms in the cartoon, but I don't know. But yes, he does look glorious. I wish the face sculpt looked more like Megatron to me. I'm not a huge fan of the face sculpt, but you can't deny there is something about that with the paint, with the molded in detail. There is love there. I mean, I don't even have it. And even I can say, looking at it, that's every bit a leader class because of everything got into it. Every bit a leader class. Is GotBot in for the APC Toys bulkhead? Haven't seen an APC Toys bulkhead. The only APC Toys that I'm in for now is the Arachnid. But if I see the bulkhead, who knows? I haven't seen that one. Transmetal Megatron looks skinny. Interesting. Nope, one arm was a dragon head. Always. And you know what? Honestly, Jay, it's been a while since I watched Beast Wars, and I didn't exactly go back and look it up, so I wasn't sure. I couldn't remember. I was just taken aback by the fact that, Transmetal 2 Megatron looked as glorious as he did, right? But what a hard way to live your life. Oh, no, I can't do anything with my left hand. Why? It's a dragon head. Like, First world problems, right? First world problems. Yeah, I think I'm done with pre-orders. Too many of them don't follow through and get canceled on me and stuff. I think I'm done with pre-ordering. It's not a system that works well for me. It's too iffy. I think I'm just going to go back, and if I see it in store, cool. If I don't, it's only a toy. I don't need it that bad. I'm anything but addicted. I'm pretty toy rich. I'll be okay. It'll go great with my custom Optimus. Interesting. The Transmetal 2 Megs has kind of a pinkish hue to them. I didn't notice that. They still look red to me, but maybe you do have a pinkish hue. What do I know? Okay, so the last parts here, we have Studio Series Wheelie. If you're in for the Wheelie, cool. The Ratchet, I still think that the 86 core class Ratchet looks awful. The Hot Rod is pretty good. It definitely borrows from the deluxe version that was a Walmart exclusive when the movie came out, but it's obviously improved on it. I still wouldn't call it animation accurate. The arms got too much bulk on them. The chest doesn't come down low enough. There's orange that's missing down on the ribs. The feet got both orange highlights there, but I don't know if they're exactly in the right spot. But I get it. He was so brutally difficult to do because outside of the hood on him, really, you don't see anything of a car on Hot Rod in that mode. So what were you going to do with it, right? So, when Jay says that he loves the Hot Rod, I get it. Honestly, I totally understand why you would love the Hot Rod, which brings us to crosshairs. I was very interested to see what they would do with crosshairs, because how do you take car parts that turn into fabric, essentially, of a jacket and make it work? They've tried it with Age of Extinction. I don't think it worked very well. The arms, especially, they were real limited. They tried it with The Last Night. I think it worked a bit better, but there were still issues with articulation, and there was something used to come off there. Tires, I think, used to fall off, if I'm not mistaken, up on the shoulder. I hear sirens now, so that's great. This new one I like. Yes, he has a car roof on his back, and we have the sides of the car folded in. He does have his trench coat on the front, and I like, if you look at it, it actually has hinges to fold up. So I don't think it's going to hinder his articulation at all. If anything, I think it's going to move with his legs and stuff. I think it's very, very interesting what they're doing. I wish that there were a couple of more paint apps there. Still a little bit too much green for my taste. I'd like a little more silver highlight here and there, maybe a blue light here or there. But for what they've done, I think the crosshairs and the Hot Rod look real, real good. I think if everything works, if all the tolerances work, I think you could have winners on your hand, especially the crosshairs. Then we get to the Fallen. Right away, the dude doesn't have those spring-loaded feet, so he's going to be better. But I don't think his alt mode is better. I get it. I get the whole Cybertronian thing, but man, that's a funky looking alt mode. That being said, he does have the whole give me your face gimmick, apparently, where he can rip his face off. So that's neat. And he does have a coloration that seems a little more accurate. So I like that. I don't think it's a bad Fallen at all. At all. Just the fact that his legs are going to be better and the dude can stand up makes him a win, if you ask me. What else do we have here? 86 Rumble. I saw it and I was like, didn't we already get that guy? And I was wrong. His thighs, his lower legs, his feet are all different. I would say all of those are probably reuses, remolds from the Eject that came with Blaster. Was it Eject that came with Blaster? I think it was Eject who came with Blaster. He still doesn't have elbows. That's a bummer. I was really counting on him having elbows. He does, however, have his two little blasters and his pile drivers. Now, here's the thing. I had the 4-pack, and I had the original blue Rumble from that, so I don't really need this. To be fair, I gave the Siege, Rumble, and Frenzy to our oldest, who's also a collector, and I kept the Titans Return Tank Lads as my Rumble and Frenzy, and I think I'm still going to do that. Nothing against the Studio Series 86. I think it's a great Rumble. I just don't think I need it. If you do, if you really want them to go in your Siege or your Netflix Soundwave, then this is the Rumble to get, no doubt about it. And thank goodness they did it right. He's Rumble, because we all know that Rumble is blue. or purple, depending on how you want to see it. He is not red and black. That's Frenzy. I don't care what you say. I don't care what the toy said. Cartoon is king, baby. And I'm sticking to it. We saw the pink bee, which of course is Laserbeak as Bumblebee. That was horrific in the film. And I think that's it for Studio Series. I thought Studio Series had a strong showing. Oh, and they showed the Ironhide again. It is what it is. I think Studio Series had a really strong showing. Legacy. They showed us Point Blank and Peacemaker. They showed us the packaging. And if you will note, on the packaging, it says Point Blank, not Blanker. I find that very interesting. Crankcase, his grill comes off and becomes his gun. For those who don't know, he's a trigger con. Basically, he was bullied a lot and got sick of it. So he started going around with ammo, basically, right? And he's a remold, a partial reuse of Skids. I love Skids. So I'm cool with Crankcase. I thought Skids turned out fantastic. So I'm cool with Crankcase. Happy to do it. Skullgrin. I love that his horns come in over his head. I think he looks fine. A lot of people say, what a hunkin' chunkin' tank. Sure it is. I love the original Skullgrin. I think the new one looks cool. The original looks a little more organic for a robot. The new one looks very robot-y for a robot. So I'm cool with it. The turret, by the way, in tank mode does go around 360 degrees. We also saw Bomb Burst. Yeah, man. Look, I'm looking at the Little Legends guy, and I get it. Why would you make Bomb Burst a Deluxe or a Voyager? He is not that well known. I mean, Skullgrin, they've done as a Deluxe before. Bludgeon, they've done as a Voyager before. I don't think they have the faith. Now, whether it would sell or not is a different story, but I don't think the penny pushers or pinchers, if you will, the penny pinchers have the faith that Iguanus or Bomb Burst would sell at that higher price level. So they become core class. I'm okay with it. Apparently, they're going to be asking fans if they want shells. I don't. It's too expensive. I'm not paying a commander price for a shell that doesn't move and a deluxe size robot, because that's what it would be, right? That's what it would be. It would be a commander price. I'm not interested. I like the way they're doing it. I'm fine with it. Cannot wait. Come on, Octopunch. That's all I'm going to say. Come on, Octopunch. They showed the Armada Starscream. Apparently his sword is gray so that it doesn't clash with Star Sabers. It's really weird. What a weird comparison to make from Victory and Armada, but okay, whatever floats your boat. They call them null rays. They come up over shoulders. Apparently they have like blast effects, but man, they look real hollow. Real hollow. It's a good thing that the rest of the bot looks so tremendously good. So again, if you're an Armada fan, I think you got to support the Starscream. Right? It's not for me, but I think you got to support it. What else do we have here? Inferno, he has his rocket booster. He's able to do the whole, like his butt, is what allows him to fly. The rocket booster can come off and be held in his hand. The trick with him is going to be his legs in Ant mode. The legs have to be better than they are on Scorponok, because if it can't support the weight and he falls down, he's a failure. You need to have the Ant mode legs toleranced perfectly for that mode. We saw Dead End again with his weird looking feet. And the Transmetal Megatron, we already talked about that. He's also going to come with Fire Breath, and the Fire Breath can be used as like a fire club in robot mode, which is kind of cool if you ask me. Again, I think both were fairly successful. I was happy to get a closer look at Crankcase. I was happy to get a closer look at Skullgrin and see a little bit about like the horns on his head moving. I was happy to see the Fallen and to see Crosshairs. They didn't get ruined by thieves and stuff. So cool. We also had this week 2 little listings, probably for the buzzworthy Bumblebee line. One is Tra B Generation Studio Series Nest 1, which would make me think it's going to be the Bumblebee Nest Jeep, somehow released in the buzzworthy line. And the other is Leader Reissue. I'm not sure what leader they would reissue in the Bumblebee line, but I mean, that could be anything. It could be Studio Series. It could be, I don't know what it could be. It could be Legacy. It could be anything. So we'll have to see what comes from those 2 listings. All of that is guesswork. I had heard about them, but it was actually reported by, I think, JT Prime, who does it a lot, JT Prime 17. So I'm just kind of corroborating. Yeah, I heard about the same listings. Take that for what you will. I'm going to do the first trivia question, then I'm going to go back and check here on the chat, and then we'll do the second trivia question when we get here, and then we're going to do this week's unboxing and get out of here. So trivia question number 1. What is Huffer's special ability? Is it A, mass displacement? Is it B, metallurgy? Is it C, endless energy, meaning he doesn't run out of energy? Or is it D, fast tactical analysis? So is it A, mass displacement, B, metallurgy, C, endless energy, or D, fast tactical analysis? I'm going to see what you guys say. I know some people are answering. Hang tight. I'm just going to check in with the comments up above, and we're going to get down there again. Let me go up here a little bit to see where I was. I think it's about here I was. Transmetal 2 Megatron makes for a poor Megatron, but would make fantastic as a cryotech. Yeah, you can do it as a cryotech for sure. Shows he had Bulkhead up for pre-order. Didn't see it, Big M. Didn't see it. I pre-order as a backup plan if I don't find something on the shelf. So I have done that too, Ash. I have done a pre-order as a backup if I don't find it on shelf. But I think I've reached a point in my life where seeing all of the people going bonkers over this Cosmos, and I'm like, dude, it's just a toy. It's just a toy. Like, stop losing your minds, or go and get some sort of addictions counseling or something, man. Like, it's just a toy. And I stand by what I said. I think at the end, there will be plenty of them around somehow, some way. What did you miss? I didn't know you were gone, Ninja Bill, so I don't know what you missed. It has the both DNA upgrade kits and Toy Hack stickers kit on Optimal Optimus. Oh, okay. Yeah. I got the DNA set for my Optimal Optimus. And you know what? Actually, it's funny. Event Progenitor. It's funny, Dragonfly, that you mentioned that. I got the DNA kit for my Optimal Optimus, and the Toy Hacks kit is on him because Event Progenitor sent me the Toy Hacks kit. Yep. I got the same Optimal Optimus, actually. Probably going to pass. That's fair, Ninja Bill. The sirens are for the cops, Hasbro calling GotBot for hating B, probably. Wonder if they'll make a Tiger Hawk. I'd be cool with that. I've wondered the same thing. The following to me is the Dreamwave iteration. Oh, yeah, for sure it is. The Dreamwave. I agree, Maximal 10. The Tank Boy, right? On fire, right? I'm streaming today, Caldeo, because I have a day surgery tomorrow. And I'm gonna have to heal, right? It's not serious. I'll be okay, but I didn't want to, like gyp you guys, so I thought that this was the best way to go about it. I'm probably gonna get him. Had him plus my wife loves dragons. That's fair. It was eject. Thank you, Albert. Rumble looks good. I agree, Jay. He does. I don't think I necessarily need him myself. If I see him, maybe, I don't know. We'll see, but I think he's great. I wish when we got eject, I was like, oh yeah, do this as Rumble. And I just wish that the arms had elbows. I mean, maybe they just couldn't work it in there for the transformation or whatever. I get it. It's unfortunate since we know it can be done at that size. Nice, though we'll be missing his third mode, which kills it. His third mode? What third mode? Hope they redo the cassette bots for Soundwave and Blaster. They probably will now, at least some of it. Toy is king. No, it's not input. I don't mind you. You're crazy beans. Rumble is green. No, it's not. The whole shtick for the Transmetal line was a third mode. Without it, what's the point? What is Megatron's third mode, though? Did he have it? I don't remember him with the third mode. So good. Rumble's blue, right? Pink Bee Laserbeak is terrible. It was. That scene was her. Are your parents home, or is your mother home? Or like that was horrifying. was like, what is Laserbeak going to do to that kid? Crankcase, make fun of me and I'll add your face to my collection. Yeah, Crankcase is serious, dude. All we need now is Thunderwing to complete the Decepticon Pretenders. No, Octo Punch. But yeah, Thunderwing would be cool too. I really hope they don't bring back Pretender shells. It's not that I hated Pretender shells. It's just I'm not going to pay the cost for it. I'm not willing to do it at all. It's going to be lost sales. I can guarantee you now. I will give you sales the way you're doing them now. I am not giving you sales for a shell. Like I'm not with what you're already charging, because it's like somebody said on Input Stream, it'll be $100, right? It'll be $100 for a shell and a deluxe. That's what you'll be paying for. It's not for me. If it's for other people, cool, but it's not for me. It says the only way the shell could be used is if they have half bot base mode. Yeah, I don't see it working. I don't see how they could bring back the shells. I mean, they could, but they'll be immobile shells that they'll overcharge for, because you still got to do molds for it all, and you still got to put it together, and you still got to add paint, right? I've used the example of Fans Project really kind of breaking themselves to do the shells that they did when people asked for it. Fire Club, sure, Hasbro. Well, it's what Hasbro likes to do, right? DK08, what? DK08 upgrade kit. Oh yeah, for Optimal Optimus. Pre-orders did a lot to stop my interest for G1 as a kid. That's fair. Later reissue, interesting. Yeah, that's what I said too. Okay, B. It is B. He has sensors in his arms that helps him detect metals and actually other things that can be used for like construction and whatnot, right? So yeah, Huffer is able to use his sensors to test metals for things like tensile strength and elasticity and heat, and then use those things for construction. Side note, how much can Huffer lift? Right, we don't see him really with a blaster very often. How much can Huffer lift? Can he lift A, 100,000 pounds, B, 20,000 pounds, C, 40,000 pounds, or D, 8,250 pounds? So 100,000, 20,000, 40,000, or 8,250. A, B, C, or D. As we go down, I want to see what you guys say to that one too. I thought the special ability was a strength. Sounds for a Chug Rescue Bot. It could be for a Chug Rescue Bot. It jumped. I pulled the input there. Won't get any Titan commanders. Already got the tiny combiner in Stream. What? Steam Hammer? Okay. Oh yeah, Steam Hammer. Oh yeah. Sort of drag race thing I had, but it was official in the instructions. B, C. Wouldn't know without looking it up. Yeah, don't go looking it up. That's cheating. He's not the biggest Autobot, but he's one of the strongest. D seems right. He's tiny. A. Prime's trailer. C. Huffer lifted a mammoth. And the answer is Marcus got it. C. He can lift 40,000 pounds. He's also extremely strong. Okay, so we're going to get out of here now with the unboxing. The first one is from our buddy Grimlock On. And Grimlock On sent this to me last week. If you remember last week on the show, I said I had one more thing, but I said I was going to save it for the unboxing this week. Well, I actually got two things to unbox, and this is one of them. And this I was not going to get, but our buddy Grimlock On happened to send it my way, and I was like, cool. And it's boom, the Wreck and Rule set with Impactor and Spindle. And I heard that Spindle, for a lot of people, was real loose and falling apart. I mean, mine's fine. What I did notice, and you might notice it too, is I had to take the hand out and put the mushroom peg like out further because it was falling out. These were falling out, so I moved them out further. Now they're solid. They're fine. Other than that, he's fine. Mine's fine. So I'm happy with him. And honestly, I love this guy. I'm going to tell you now, he was Toy of the Year for, I think it was 2019. And I said it before, it was a time when I was getting really fed up with the fandom and a lot of the BS that was going on. And this guy saved me. This guy reinvigorated my love for Transformers again. And I didn't even know the character. I had no link to him, knew nothing about him. Not going to lie, even deferred to Starscream wife, which one is better? Because they're both fantastic. And she said, she looked at the Marvel comics and she said, this guy's your Marvel Comics guy. If you want War for Cybertron, it's this guy. If you want the Marvel Comics, it's this guy. Doesn't matter. Impactor is fantastic. Fantastic. Whether you like the lighter yellow and the lighter purple or the more goldish yellow and the darker purple, it doesn't matter. It's fantastic. But that's not all I got. I did get something else in from Amazon. Now, I mentioned last week how if it wasn't for the exclusives, I wouldn't use Amazon. And that's true, which means I actually would have missed out on this deal because I never would have been on the site. The only reason that I got what I got here tonight to show you is because I went in to check to see if my Leadfoot and my Master Dominus set from last week had shipped. And I happened to see this because it came up as like recommended for you and it was on sale. And I actually asked input about it. And I said, how much is this guy in the US? And he said, about $90. So I said, okay, so 103 Canadian equates to $80 US. And I said, okay, for 80 US, for cheaper US than what the US is, I'm willing to give it a shot. I was not paying the 140 Canadian for Motor Master. Was not going to pay the 140 Canadian. Not a chance. But I'll pay 80 US and see what it's like. Now, this is where things get real interesting. First, I said it all along, yeah, we needed a new torso. There was never any doubt that we needed a new torso. I 100% agree, though I think the sword is weak. Really, really, really weak. It looks like a little daggery thing. It's not good. But I think the bot is good. Luckily, mine does not have any yellowing. I haven't looked at the batch number to know if it is a batch that does yellow. We'll see that, though, before I do the review. But here's what I wanted to show before I get out of here. They said on one of their streams, well, you could kind of put a Combiner Wars limb in the leg, but it's not secure and it's not that good. That's a lie. That's another lie, just like the comics, because here is Wild Rider. And I promise you, he is in there every bit as secure, if not more secure, than this leg. Is it shorter? Yes. Does it bend? Yes. Can it turn? Yes. Does it lock? Yes. In fact, when you push it in, you got to give it a final little nudge. And guess what? This leg is locked and the Combiner Wars leg is locked. You will notice that he is shorter using the Combiner Wars limb, obviously. That's the big thing. He is going to be shorter if you use the Combiner Wars limb. But that being said, I don't think the thigh is proportioned well to this leg. I kind of think the thigh is proportioned better here. So it's up to you. But if you're wondering, hey, if I went in on the two arm boys and this guy, can I use my breakdown and my Wild Rider or my off-road if I really wanted to? Yeah, you could. Absolutely, you could. It is solid. It is secure. I just knocked out a foot piece. It is solid. It is secure. There's absolutely no reason that you can't do that. So far we've debunked a couple of myths that they tried to get. Whatever. We've debunked a couple of myths that they tried to get fans to believe about comics that aren't true. And we've debunked another myth that they tried to make you believe that you can't use your previous Combiner Wars limbs, when in fact, you 100% absolutely can. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to look in here now. What does it weigh? What does it weigh? I did check out what it weighed. All in, without the box and the instructions and all that junk, it clocks in at 748 grams. It is by mass, by engineering, by parts count. I'm going to say it now, and we haven't done the review yet. There's a lot to talk about in the review. But by all accounts, if we're looking at it by mass, by engineering, by parts count, by paint, I have to admit, it is every bit a Commander class offering. But we'll talk about that more when we actually do the review. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming by and giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we have to offer to you through Spring, or of course, you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. What? Never bought CW Motormaster. Fair enough. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Especially don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single day, you right there, you do make a difference, man. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, usually at the stop motion premieres, or the old fashioned way, baby, right here inside the video.